My name is Michael Fallon. I'm the director, executive director of MTN, and I'm very, very, very pleased to be able to say that I'm here today with the cast and crew, members of the cast and crew of Drinking with Ian. Woo! Yeah.
Mobbed with misfits, miscreants, and the curious. It's not your typical television crowd, but this isn't your typical television show. It's Drinking with Ian.
Ladies and gentlemen, thanks for coming down to Drinking to the Ian tonight.
Shot in an actual nightclub with a standing audience, we capture the raw energy of a live event, making the viewer kick themselves for not being present. It's a spectacle for people who like to say they were there and have the scars, piercings, and tattoos to prove it. For a crowd that thinks they've seen it all, here's one stage that delivers the unexpected.
I apologize for that. No, I don't. That was actually kind of funny.
Are you right-handed or left-handed?
I'm left-handed. Let's find out. See what works, you know? I think I'm right-handed. Yeah, all right.
I thought this is the furry convention.
Ian has guests, but this isn't your standard celebrity interview.
I have puked more good whiskey out of my nose than you will ever drink.
I'm only 12 seconds into this show, and this is my favorite show ever. I'm drinking with Ian.
It actually comes in handy because I know how to skate and I know how to knock bitches down.
Yeah. My uncle used to knock chicks down all the time. He just ended up in jail. What's the difference here?
Well, we're on roller skates.
He was on amphetamines, though. I mean, that's...
Ian also brings in bands, gathered from the finest garages and dirtiest festivals on earth. Even the most inviting club can induce cabin fever after a while, so Ian and company like to ditch the ankle bracelets and take it outside.
Other than avoiding magnets, what are your touts? No, this is for Comedy Central. You ever seen Insomniac? I'm Dave Attell. How you doing? What's been your favorite part so far?
I don't know, just kind of wandering around and drinking. You know?
Well, the important thing is, how do you think I've been doing?
Been doing well,
That's what's nice about, you know, even though we're in a cage, you can almost kind of see nature from here.
Right.
What'd you just say?
Take off your pants.
Who are you talking to?
The gentleman on your...
So I'm not good enough now. And you're saying that we need to decriminalize farming. Explain how farming is a criminal activity.
Because if they dare to grow anything like cocoa or hemp or poppy, then they're out of business or they have to pay.
So not only do we need to reduce our dependence on foreign oil, we need to reduce our dependence on foreign heroin.
Exactly.
It's 6 in the damn morning, 6 o'clock a.m. Why are we here? Well, it's a good question. We're here because Prince has decided to take the First Avenue main room stage for the first time in almost 20 years. And we've decided to show up all early and offer them coffee and donuts and see why they've come here to stand in line to watch Prince and what that smell is. Wakey, wakey, eggs and bacon. You came all the way in from Tampa for this.
Yes, sir.
Would you like a donut?
Yes, I would.
Let me tell you, if you're only familiar with First Avenue by watching Purple Rain, there aren't a lot of whores walking around in like spandex and leotards and like teddies and stuff. Do you have another outfit that you're going to switch in for this?
No, I mean I'm going to change, but not into purple lingerie. No.
Red?
No.
Never meant to cause you any pain. You know, what would you say to Prince if he was watching right now?
I love you, but why are you making us do this?
Napoleon complex is the answer. Are you comfortable with having a Drinking with Ian tattoo with you till your dying day?
You won't see this kind of mayhem on other late night shows, but you can count on it when you're Drinking with Ian.
And that was Drinking with Ian through the years.
Yeah.
I'd like to go straight to our cast here and introduce who we have present. We have, first here on my right, the host of the show.
Yeah, that's
co-creator,
me. I did
Ian
that
Rams.
too. Yeah. Hey everybody, thanks for showing up. Yeah, that was our sizzle reel that we put together to get shopped around to big networks. It worked great.
Next to Ian, we have the bartender for the Stars and another co-creator of the show, Ollie Stench.
You deserve it.
Next to him, we have Brian Forrest, another co-creator
Yeah.
and producer
Yeah.
of the show. And we also have Chris Maddock, who made it today. Writer and actor on the show?
Yes, writer and actor.
So let's just dive right in. So tell me, I mean, the burning question, I'm sure you've talked about this many times. How did this show come together? How did you guys meet? How did it happen?
Well, I was hosting something in Northeast Minneapolis, in 2000, 2001 called Punk Karaoke. And it actually, it was just kind of a dumb thing, just, kind of a way to spend the winter with a dumb, project like this. And we basically stripped out the vocals from crappy old punk songs and people would show up and sing them. And we had a bunch of weirdos who would do this every week. And out of them, I met Brian, and Brian was doing a lot of video production at the time, and I'd kind of been bumbling around with the concept of doing a show for a long time, but I had no idea even remotely how the hell that would be done. So just by dumb luck, Ollie and I, who had been talking about the idea together, we met Brian, and Brian actually made the whole thing actually come to be.
Brian had the access to the technical stuff.
Well, and the brain to know how to do things. I think we wanted to do. We wanted to do a TV show like I want to go to Barbados someday. He actually would have an idea how to book tickets and stuff.
Ian and I have half a brain between us.
Yeah.
Brian has a full brain.
Yeah, so it worked out quite well.
I had more of one before the show started.
Well, yeah.
And we happened to coincidentally know at the same time a guy who was starting an open mic at Grumpy's downtown. And he was pretty much the funny guy we knew, so we're like, well, let's enlist him. And that's how we got Chris involved with this real early on.
And others. And others, yeah.
Yeah, and others. But I mean, at first, you were pretty much it. Like, first episode, you're like the star of the roll-in.
Oh, yeah.
You were pretty much there at the very beginning, and you're here on stage, and everybody else decided not to show up, so screw them.
Who was the dude in recovery? Roy
Rosenthal.
Roy Rosenthal. My mom fell in love with Roy Rosenthal.
Really?
Yes.
Where is she?
Probably in bed. It's after 7.
Yeah.
I don't want to put you on the spot, but could Roy Rosenthal make a little appearance right now?
Oh my God.
Yeah,
what I do is I'd put some sort of, here, I got to put like a dip in. You got to get like, I just carry napkins with notes on them around. So you got to put like a dip in, because if I put a real dip in, I'd throw up, which would be good for the sketch, I guess. And then you got to have a big dip in, and then I'm basically Ian's, what was I?
Sponsor. Yeah.
The
AA
of the show,
sponsor.
which also doubled as Ian's AA sponsor. And I would teach him to just stick straight with beers, all right?
Yeah.
Stick straight with beers. Mick Golden Light, Coors Light, all right? Marlboro Lights work too. Anything like you'd be fine.
And the character got funnier over time. No, your character stayed the same amount of funny. It got funnier in my head as I would meet people in real life. I was like, holy crap, you are the Roy Rosenthal personified.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. And it accidentally became popular. I think it was kind of we'd do anything, we'd try anything, and that one actually kind of took off so much so where we ended up kind of having to kill Roy Rosenthal off.
Yeah.
There's the Roy in Heaven clip, which I think we'll be showing a little bit later.
Well, I'm glad you brought up the Roy Rosenthal character, because I was interested in the characters and how you came up with them. But tell me a little bit about sort of the creation process. Did you guys have a writer's room? Did you go to a bar? How did ideas
We started a good time in Minneapolis. It was a good time for us. It was a horrible time for everybody else because with the snowbait program had dried up. So basically, in case you don't know, the state of Minnesota had this great tax policy where if you showed up here, you could film a movie for cheap, which was great. And that's how we had like Grumpy Old Men,
Mighty Ducks,
that Schwarzenegger, Jingle All the Way. Yeah. And then Palenti, I believe, or somebody came in and cut it, and like, screw it. So then we had a whole bunch of people who were really good at film here in town who normally wouldn't have given us the time of day were suddenly desperate enough to go, well, I guess I should probably get up and get my chops together and still work on it. So we got really lucky with that. And as I'm sure Chris would back me up on this, we've always had a very good comedy scene here in town and community, and it was especially coming into its own starting then.
And then was 2004.
2004,
yeah.
I feel like 3, but...
Well, I think we started talking about it in 2003 and actually came to fruition in 2004.
That sounds right.
But
because we talked about it for like 6 months, just trying to figure out the logistics and everything.
I think we were filming some stuff in 2003, but we didn't actually get into the entry to film an episode
right.
before 2004.
I remember going to White Castle at 2 in the morning to interview people and being really depressed by what their stories were, and I don't think that ever made
No, we did a lot of things that never saw the light of day.
We thought this would be really funny, and then we were just like, oh no.
Yeah.
That was like the first remote bit we did, is we had somebody go out and interview, like the overnight crew. Like we're an overnight show. We'll talk to our populace, and went to a White Castle on Lake Street at 3 o'clock in the morning, and basically, we didn't get killed, but we should have for being such idiots.
I know someone who did that for their MCAD project to not be funny.
Yeah, no, exactly. Yeah. We were mining comedy gold in a place where we've not been seen in a long time. But yeah, and luckily, yeah, we didn't get killed from that, which is odd.
Speaking of characters, one of my favorites is the bartender for the Stars.
The bartender for the Stars, Mr. Ollie Stench.
Do we want to throw to a clip here?
Well, I know we actually, I don't know if we have them in order or not. We either have a one featuring all of our fine guests we had over the years with Drink with Ian, or we could have one that's actually quite timely featuring Ollie, and I guess we can kind of toss it.
We could try to stretch it out so the person in the VTR room has a chance to
queue up
that's
a good point. Yeah, because Ollie Stench, really, and I'm going to let him talk for himself in a moment after I get done killing some time before they go to clip number 3. But yeah, he came up with, we did 100 episodes, that's 100 shots, that's 100 names and 100 different recipes, mostly made possible by our sponsors.
Turn the can a little bit so that the sponsors...
Is it me now?
Yeah, if you got time, yeah.
Yeah, so some of the people knew, a lot of people didn't know, that when I would show up for a taping at First Avenue, I didn't know what booze I had to work with. I didn't know what mixers I had to work with. And I've never been a professional bartender. So I would just mix crap together and give it to Ian, give it to Brian, say, what do you guys think? Is this passable? And they would say, yeah, sure.
Our decisions went down as time progressed. We were just like, it's good enough. We're giving it away for free. And it would often be the case.
Did you still see? Yeah,
I never had the names of the shots before I entered the room. And so as I was making these shots, I would say, okay, this one tastes like a Uncle Frank. Mm-hmm. This one tastes like a dead Nazi sympathizer. Not quite a dead Nazi, but a dead Nazi sympathizer. Sure. And then I would tell a backstory about the shots, and no one really caught on that the backstories for the shots were completely ad-libbed at the time. I had no idea what I was going to say, and unlike right now, I was able to come up with something witty and stupid to say.
But I think we have now bought enough time for us to throw to the correct clip. I believe we have. Has anybody a heads up? Yeah. All right, anyway, but yeah, so I think we have a great bit of some of Ollie Stench's greatest shots.
Real quick, though, for those that know, Ian came up with the greatest description for me after season 1. He said I was the bastard child of Stiv Bators and Ted Lange from The Love Boat.
That's true. That's true.
Shots on the house.
Yeah.
Hey, everybody, how you doing? Ready for some shots? All right, well, we've been doing almost like 50 episodes of Drinking with Ian, and that's a new shot that I have to come up with every episode. And I realized that I haven't dedicated a shot to you, our lovely audience. And so tonight's shot is dedicated to you, and it's called the Freeloading Bastard. The Cherry Surprise. And so to make it Jim Jones, called the Solar Flare. And I call it the Dead Nazi Sympathizer. Tonight's shot is dedicated to all the creative panhandlers, and it's called Baby Needs Shoe. The Commie, Grandpa's Outhouse, the Money Shot, called the Attitude Adjuster, called the Guyana Sunset, the Kissin' Cousin, Arnold's Ice Hole. So tonight, I'm gonna attempt to make a vodka martini. The happy ever after. Gonna make a Frogger. The Enabler. My new best friend. Grandpa's Candy Cane. Tonight's shot is called the Electric Kool-Aid Acid Shot. Black Pussy. Tonight's shot is called the AA. It's called Pulling It Out of My Ass. The Capital. A Flu Shot. The Miami Vice. The Lackanookie. That's why I'm wearing this spiffy jacket. Tell a lie. Tell the truth. The Happy Ending. I love me too. Thank you very much. Yeah! What a dick!
I think my favorite thing is the evolution of watching the evolution of your hair in those clips.
Yeah, actually, devolution. This is an honestly true story. I saw some outtakes from Drinking with Ian when I had hair, and I had this big bald spot right there, and I thought, oh God, I can't do that, so I shaved it all off.
That's how it happened.
I know, interesting, isn't it? That's what I'm here for.
I'm curious of all the things you did, all the bits, all the roll-ins, all the remotes, everything you did, do you have one that's a favorite? Does each of you have one that's a favorite, and why is it a favorite?
Well, I know my favorite, I mean, because it was the most popular. Back before you could be internet famous, you had to settle for being MySpace famous. And we actually had some friends who kind of understood the inner workings of how stuff would get on the front page of MySpace. So we did a sketch called Philip the Abortion Stork.
The pantheon of lesser known
mythical creatures. And Philip the Abortion Stork, needless to say, got a lot of people really interested and opened up a lot of lines of communication with people's thoughts on it. That's a personal favorite of mine. That's a classic.
Yeah, that got like 1 million hits.
They got like 1.5 million views.
And that evolved into the entire final episode of that season, where it was, well, a lot of different mythological creatures came out of that, like the missing sock yeti.
The nocturnal emission fairy.
Nocturnal emission
My favorite, Angstrom the menstrual gnome.
Yeah, the menstrual gnome. And giant, what was that, kind of an hour-long episode?
It seemed like it, yeah. Yeah, basically, when we found out we had an idea that was slightly popular, we just nailed it into the damn ground.
Philip the Abortion Stork ran for president along with his running mate, Fetus in a Jar.
Yeah, Fetus in a Jar. Yeah, that was a good one.
And that was one of my favorite episodes. We did an entire episode where it was a political thriller.
Yeah.
Philip had been assassinated on the campaign trail, and everyone went about looking for it. We started in the studio. And then by the time we had to come back to do the tribute to Philip's death by the very end.
Kind of like Buckwheat.
Yeah, but he got resurrected at the end. And I was actually in a bar in St. Bonifacius when the episode with he ran for president with Fetus in a Jar. And I'll never forget, because I saw somebody stare at the television and he went, "Did he just say fetus in a jar?" And it was possibly one of the best moments I had ever seen. Because I mean,
you were scared people were going to recognize him.
I was really scared. I had a hat on, I got my hair down, just like that. But yeah, I mean, we had a lot of good stuff on that.
Speaking of dangerous fans, did we find out that we were really big in the Hennepin County jail system?
I've never heard that.
I've never heard that either, but it's a great story if you'd like to make up more of it right now.
I don't remember how this came down to us. Someone who works in government came and said that they would show Drinking with Ian. I think it was in the jail system. It could have been in the prison system. I'm not sure which it was. Either one was a feather in our cap to be known as the show of choice amongst society's miscreants.
Incarcerated.
Well, and the weird thing is, when we were doing most of this, I was living in Uptown, and I was always kind of like, well, this is where all the hip kids, are going to hang out. This is where I'll look, this is where everybody will recognize me, and that never happened. My girlfriend will back me up on this. I can't go to a Target in a third rung suburb without somebody going, "Are you drinking with Ian?" Like, I mean, so if you're over the age of 45 and live in a third rung suburb, like, they loved our show.
I got asked for an autograph this is right when the light rail opened up. I was on the light rail, and we hit the end of the line, and I'm the last one on there, and the train driver comes out to switch to the other end, and he like stops and sees me. He says, "Are you Ollie Stench?" And I say my pat answer, which is sometimes.
Yeah.
And he said, "I love your show. I've been on the wagon for 20 years, but I still love watching your show. Can I get your autograph?" And he hands me the how to drive a train manual, and says, "I'm like, are you sure you want me to sign this?" He's like, "Yeah, do it." And I'm like, "All right, okay."
And we got
still had to pay for the train.
We got some of the strangest feedback. I heard about somebody who was kind of up north who'd actually buy the booze and make it along with us, and did every shot along with us.
I'm sorry.
Yeah, we had a lot of strange followers.
My favorite episode was with Realtor Cotty Lowry.
Yeah.
And I don't know if I can say what he actually said, but when Ian said that Cotty Lowry was going to be the guest, I was like, what the hell? What's he going to say? He comes out, and before Ian can even ask him a question, he says, yeah, I know you guys are thinking, who's this guy? Well, let me tell you about the first property that I dealt with. It was a porno shop, and in the basement, they were making dog porn.
Yeah. Not two dogs.
No, yeah.
I mean, you could just look in your backyard and see that half the time.
And so I immediately thought, okay, I get it.
That story is going to get shoehorned into this retrospective no matter what we did. I had a feeling no matter what we did. But to get things kind of on schedule, I know it's your show, but I know we have a clip we need to toss to of some of our best guests.
I got a better one.
Yeah? All right.
Because you asked what the favorite episodes were, and I think by law I have to say that my favorite episode was the one where I proposed to my then girlfriend.
Yeah, now we just set up a different clip.
I know. I'm stepping on your thing because it dovetails in with the idea of favorite episodes.
Okay.
See, I thematically like to keep things
Oh, sure.
together.
It's all about you.
Yep.
It's all about you.
It's
Don Shelby tonight. I'm talking about Ramblin' Don Shelby. Smokestack Shelby, everybody.
I spent a lot of my time as a black youth. You don't know me, baby, like I know myself. If you should part, I'm no sweetheart that'd worry me to death. So take out some insurance.
Let's talk about what you're doing right now. So this book about all sorts of good stuff now, available in bookstores. What does this parlay into in your life, other than awkward Thanksgivings with your parents?
You know, a lot of assholes from the West Coast called me, and so I've been working for a couple of movie studios. And that's what I've been up to.
No, so what, do you have anything in the works?
Yeah, I have some things in the works.
Yeah, like with what?
I wrote a movie, and it's being filmed soon. It's called Juno, and that's all I have to say on the subject.
So you can't give us
I can talk about it. I just don't want to bore these people with.
They're not bored.
Yeah, kind of like one of the more interesting experiences. I get a phone call like at midnight one night, and they're like, "Can you come out to Paisley Park?" And I said, "Yeah."
Yeah, the answer is generally yeah.
Laying on the floor with Prince watching old midnight special videos that he had tape recorded, and he's like making food for me, and I'm like, I'm laying on the floor with Prince, for Christ's sake, in his bedroom.
Yeah.
Pancakes? No, you know what? And that's true. And that that whole Dave Chappelle thing.
What was the question?
Did he make pancakes?
Oh, okay, he's a big. Okay, I did not know
that.
That
Whole Dave Chappelle thing. When it happened, we all started calling each other and emailing. It's like, you got to see this Dave Chappelle thing because it is so damn true. And he does stuff like that. And I've been there, a couple of times where, he was entertaining a young lady and he's cooking for her at the same time, and I'm hanging out watching, this dude cooks, But he does play basketball in his heels. He's amazing. It's fascinating. This dude can really ball.
I have a follow-up question. Are you f***ing shitting me?
No! Honestly, got true.
We're here with Lori Barbero, and we were talking about midgets earlier. Please, enlighten me with more midget talk.
This is a true story. Probably, I don't know, it's when the haberdashery used to be downtown. There's a peanut bar. It's where Marshall Field's little arcade is, or that caramel corn place and all that stuff.
Right, yeah.
Okay, so anyways, I was coming out of there in mid-afternoon on 2 p.m. I had a couple, but I come walking out of the bar, and I was like, oh, it's still bright out. You know that thing where it's okay drinking in the dark, but when it's bright out, it's a little different.
I understand, yeah.
And I'm walking out, and all of a sudden I'm like, oh, and something totally whacks me right there.
Right where?
Right there, down by the skirt area. And I'm like, oh my God, what are they doing putting fire hydrants in the middle of the sidewalk? And I look down, believe it or not, true, Hervé Valencia's.
It was actually Hervé Valencia's? Wait a second, you're actually telling me it was television's tattoo.
It was tattoo.
Hit you in the crotch.
And I looked down, and I was like, and he looks up and he goes, sorry. And
this is the most awesome story that's ever been told on Drinking with Ian. You can see into my soul, can't you? I look into your eyes, and you can see into the dark recesses, can't you?
I'm a pretty good damn therapist.
I know you are. Unfortunately, I have a lot of shit I want to keep buried.
So do you get back to Indiana often?
No, I haven't been there in years.
Are you okay with that?
I'm f***ing great with it. When's the last time you've been to Indiana? It's been a while, yeah. Yeah.
You are so cute. Look at that.
It's rare when I blush when I have an erection. This is nice. All right.
Well, we're back. I was going to ask, did you guys have a favorite guest, or on the opposite side, a most reviled guest who was?
We had some people who were horrible. Because we did 100 episodes, and there's about by the most liberal of estimate, maybe 25 celebrities in Minneapolis. So we, so we ended up really, there's a writer here in town, he writes for MinPost now. I mean, he wouldn't mind if I mentioned it, but I'm not going to. And he basically, his job was to show up and be the biggest jerk possible. And so much so where I was like, when halfway through the interview, my phone started buzzing, and like everybody's like, "Wow, Jim Walsh." Oh, I wasn't supposed to mention his name. It's a real jerk. And I'm like, well, you know, what can you do? It's fine. But it was actually cool to see all those clips there because we were lucky enough to have some good guests. I mean, I'll throw it to.
Well, you know what's funny too is that we were being shopped by someone out in L.A. They were trying to sell us to a network, and one of the stipulations was that we would have to move the show to L.A. because they said there wasn't enough star power in Minneapolis. Yep. And I think that you know, I think that betrays that fact. I think we had at least 5 really good guests through our 7-year run. I think we did all right. Yeah.
We somehow managed to not repeat any guests except for Rich Kronfeld.
Rich Kronfeld, we had a number of times, who actually got his start right here on MTN as Dr. Sphincter and all that stuff, who's great. It was spectacular. Now he's on the Choo Choo Bob show. Rich is a hero of men.
Well, we're running short of time. Do you want to throw to the last clip?
You guys can have a fist fight about who gets the last clip. We have actually we can take it to the audience. We have the death of Roy Rosenthal, or Brian proposing to his girlfriend.
Proposing.
Yeah, let's do proposing. He threw a beer at me earlier because it hadn't gotten aired yet. So in a couple seconds,
I want to stay married.
Yeah.
This was probably the not big, most important thing that Drinking with Ian ever did.
Yeah, we got 2 people married. But we had a tattoo too, and some people actually got married who met at Drinking with Ian.
A tattoo is a little more permanent.
Yeah, but we had 2 people who met on a blind date.
And more funny.
Who met on a blind date. There's my camera. Who actually never had. They were on a blind date. It was going really badly. Then they did a bunch of Ollie's shots. Went back to their somebody's house, I presume,
you can blame me?
and had the sex, and now they're married and doing very well. But speaking of being married and doing very well, we have a clip ready for you whenever you're ready to play it.
Brilliant. Maybe.
Awkward, just like marriage.
This is inside the Access studio, everybody.
This is.
You know, I'm pretty much a man of letters myself, so anybody who plays Scrabble is in my brotherhood or sisterhood. And I do have a haiku for you. However, I first need to introduce my assistant, Amanda.
Yeah!
Amanda is a quality individual, Scrabble player. She's appeared in several skits in the past years. And she is dating our illustrious producer, Brian.
Yeah.
Wow. And it goes like this. Dearest Amanda, without you, Brian is lost. Will you marry him?
This actually just happened.
We'll take that as a yes.
Well, this has been Inside the Access studio with Drinking with Ian. Do you want to throw to the show we're going to see?
Yeah, I know we have a couple seconds left here. And I would like to talk to you about that we have. We basically have an episode. We went to St. Paul, Minnesota. Where the hell's my camera now? All right, St. Paul, Minnesota, the capital city. We did an episode that we never got aired because somebody quit editing midway through it and decided about 8 months after we shot it that we shouldn't have it. So we ended up. I found it while looking for other stuff for a new streaming channel for stand-up records that all this stuff's going to end up on at some point. So we edited it together. We have it for you now. I edited it together. Yeah, if you had edited it, we would have had it a long time ago. So anyway, got a couple seconds left. Michael Fallon, take us out.
Thanks again for coming to Inside Access Studio. Drinking with Ian.
Thank you for doing this. Thank you for hanging out.
And enjoy the new episode, the lost episode of Drinking with Ian.
Thank you for having us.